Janelle and Gregory Watson here, helping you with your vibrational energy mastery.
Hope you enjoy the video. If you like what you see, hit like and feel free to subscribe to our channel.
It's your energy, your way.
Master your energy today. Hi guys. Hi Sandra. Hi Tamara. How you doing, Tammy? Okay, so welcome. And today, I'm just going to turn this just a smidge so you can see me a little. Today, we're actually going to be having Greg talk to us about life path numbers. Greg is actually my numbers man. I do English, he does numbers. So what we're going to do is have a chat to you about life path numbers and a little bit more about what that actually means. I'm going to pop in and ask him some questions as we go. If whoever's watching would like to ask a question, please do. I'll be watching in the chat to see what questions pop up. So morning and thanks, Greg.
Yeah, hi, good morning everybody. Well, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, whenever, okay, you are. Being a global community, we have those things happening. So, life path numbers. This week we've been talking about the life path numbers and what it means, and we've shown everybody how to go about picking up a life path number. One of the things that we stress when we do our training and our teaching with our students is that all day, every day, you walk through a sea of energy. So there are positive energies, there are negative energies, and so on, and you walk through this energy. And it's the same with numbers. Every day you're surrounded by numbers. Now don't let it overpower you. It's not like it's on top. But there are numbers everywhere. So how long, how wide, how tall, how short, how thick, how much, how deep. Okay, all these things are numbers. You've got dates, you've got times. So you have to be at the right date, you have to be at the right time. So we have all of these numbers. And the life path number is one of the things that we've looked at. So the life path number is the calculation that you get from your date of birth. And one of the reasons they use the date of birth is you can't change that, not even by deed poll. All right, so you are going to be whatever age you are based on the day that you were born. So it doesn't change. So you take all the digits and add them together, and then you end up with a single digit number at the end of the process, which most of you have seen. And that number is then the one that gives you some kind of an indication of what your life path number is. Now, the life path number is, to a large extent, what is the purpose of your life? What is the main goal? I've also heard it being described as what is the environment that you, as an individual, are most comfortable in. And it's just a guide. These are not rules, okay? It's not strictly you must be this, okay? It's all about guidance, right? So if you're a 1, for instance, you're a leader. If you're a 2, you're a diplomat. But you've all seen all of that information. So I have an example here that I've set up of for a person. And the name that I've chosen to use is Robert John Smith, which is just a random name I picked up. And the 1st of July 1987 is where I have as the date of birth. And that gives Robert John Smith a life path number of 6. So he would be a healer, right? It doesn't mean he has to be a doctor necessarily, but he will be a healer of some sort. And that would be where he's most comfortable in his life plan, okay, as being a healer.
Hi Janelle, how you doing? Sorry, just trying to greet people as they come in.
Yeah, all good. Now, the other thing with the life path number is that the life path number is not just a number that stands on its own. There's a lot of other things that influence your life path number. For instance, if you calculate the life path number of Robert John Smith, okay, the year that he was born is 1987, the 1st of July. So you add all those up and you actually end up with the number 15, okay, which is a 1 and 5. So as well as having a life path number of 6, which is the 1 and the 5 combined, he has these minor influences also of the 1 and the 5. So even though he's a healer, okay, his minor influences would be 1 and 5. So he's a leader and an explorer. And what that would probably mean to somebody like Robert is that as well as the healing, he's prepared to lead the discussions in healing. He's prepared to explore options on healing and so on. So the fact that he's a healer doesn't necessarily mean he has to be a doctor. He could be a researcher in the healing and so on. So when you do your life path numbers, don't necessarily go to the very end one, all right? Have a look at what number you get. When I did mine, I'm a 9 from a 9, okay? So basically I'm an idealist, clarity, humanitarian, and I've got the double bang, all right, of the 9 on the 9, okay? Cool.
Quick question, yes. You must have felt me wanting to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at your career path and you want to figure out, are you heading down your right career or the correct or the, your soul mission or your soul purpose for your career path? Are you a coach? Are you a healer? Are you a guide? Are you working in a different industry? Are you a carer? Perhaps a lot of people are that are actually in the spiritual world. What about things like, okay, I'm in a role, I'm in a job, I'm working, I don't know, in a public service office, surrounded by all these other people, and I really don't feel comfortable doing that. Perhaps would it be worthwhile to have a look at your life path number and see what, where perhaps if you're thinking of changing careers or changing what you're doing, to give you an idea about where to look? And how far do you break it down?
Yeah, absolutely. If you feel like your life is without purpose, then perhaps you're not following that LPN, that life path number. The other thing with the life path numbers, as I mentioned, you do have these minor influences as well. So the fact that you're in a particular role, even if you are on the life path number, you still may not feel quite right, because the minor influences are the things that are putting it just that little bit out of, kilter. So if you are a healer, for instance, okay, if you had a minor influence of 3, the 3 is the performer. So what that means is, rather than necessarily doing the healing, you might be better doing the presentation work. You might do well as an instructor, or you might do well as a university lecturer, where you're doing that whole performing thing, where you're getting up in front of everybody and go, hi, this is what I have to give you.
Like being a trainer.
Yeah, like being
Teacher.
an IT trainer.
Tamara's actually got a question. 1s and 5s seem to be repetitive numbers for me. Why is that?
The 1 is the leader and the 5 is the explorer. So it would seem to me that you would then be the sort of person who likes to lead, likes to take the crew on a journey, but you don't want to just take them through the same thing over and over again. So you're always looking for something new to lead people into.
That sounds a bit like Tammy, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So Tamara, let us know, darling, if that's actually answered your questions. So, and if you've got any questions, Sandra, Janelle, if you've got any questions as well, please pop them up, and I'm watching the chat. So, yeah, we're learning how to do this whole technical thing and working in the new world of Zoom and, all these new softwares that we've actually gotten. So, yeah, that's good. All right, so what other parts of your life path number are there?
Well, with the life path number in numerology, there's not just the one number. There's about 5 of them that actually influence your life path. So the life path number is the main one. There's another one which is your birthday. So your birthday is like the date that you were born. So if you were born on the 21st of July, it'd be the 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 21 is then your life path number, and they will have different meanings.
Do you add those together though? So if it was 21, do you add 2 and 1 together?
No. If you look further into the birth date, there is 31 different options that relate to your birth date, depending on what day that you were born. Okay.
So for the birthday, we don't add the numbers together, but for the primary life path,
yes,
we add those together. I'm actually looking over. If you're wondering where I'm looking, we've got another laptop with a bit more information on it. But
see, my birthday is 30, all right, and the 30 is the performer or the expression.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Surprise.
No.
No, not at all. So the thing that you'll find with that is that even though you have a life path number which guides you to be a certain thing, sometimes the other numbers that will influence you into that particular role, that particular environment. Other times you'll find they're the things that give you joy or happiness, that allow you to continue doing whatever it is that is your life path number. Like I've belonged to theatre groups on and off since the 1930s.
Long time ago.
Yeah, which is a very long time. And I always get a real kick out of it. And I find that is sort of, my outlet that helps me stay sane in the life path numbers. Whereas if somebody said to me, I know Tamara, for instance, loves her gardening, but if somebody said to me, you have to go and do gardening when you're not doing your primary focus, I just stay in my primary focus, because gardening absolutely is not my thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. So Davina's just said her birth date is 6/11/66. 6/11/66.
Yeah.
So what is that telling us?
Yep. Let me help if I did the right keyboard.
We've got keyboards all over the place here.
I have a little spreadsheet here that's all set up that does all these calculations.
One of the
for me,
joys
so-
of actually having an IT trainer who likes numbers is that he sets things up in spreadsheets and calculates it all, and it's great because we can actually just plug in numbers. For example, when we look at finding your guardian angel name, we plug in the number of the name and we get the frequency, and it's all set ready to go, and it's like, yay! So, I'm actually rather pleased with this. Okay, so
6/11/1966. So you've got 6 from the 6th. The 11 is November, so that's 1 and 1, which gives you 2, and the 1966 gives you 22. So if you add those three numbers, the 6, the 2, and the 22, well, the 22 becomes then a 4. So the 6, the 2, and the 4 then becomes 12. So what you end up with in your what they call your core numbers is a life path number of 3. Okay, now the 3 is the performer. So do you feel like you're a performer, Davina Rose? Janelle, you know Davina a little better than I do. So
well, she's very good
yes
at
or no?
leading us at the gym. So, and leading us in the networking events and things that she does. So, sweetheart, I would say definitely that 3 actually really suits.
Okay.
Sorry, 3 really suits you.
But on top of the 3, which is the performer, you have the 1 and the 2 from the 12. And the 1 is the leader and the 2 is then the diplomat.
And yes.
So you're leading these groups in the fitness classes, but you're a real diplomat about it, because rather than doing the whole SAS Australia thing and yelling at everybody, you're much more diplomatic about the way you approach it. So, yeah,
that's good. Yes. Well, see, Davina's in a performing family as well.
right.
So we should probably do your hubby's one too, Davina. So we've got Anita says that her birthday is 27/7/68. Can we plug that in and see what that actually is giving us?
27/7/68. Ooh, and that's a good one. So, you're a 22. A 22 is a master number. So when you do the life path numbers, the idea is to get it down to a single digit number. So anytime you have a 2-digit number, you add the 2 digits together and gives you the number. The exceptions to that are 11, 22 and 33. And what we've got here is a 22. So the 22 is the master builder. The master builder is the unifier. So we're not talking master builder as in building houses. We're talking master builder as in creating anything. Okay. Davina hubby.
So 23/6/1974.
674. Okay, an 8, the influencer with authority and generosity. Does that sound like hubby. But to get to the 8 was brought around from a 17. So the 17 is the one which is the leader, and the 7 which is the seeker of wisdom and introspect. Okay, so influencer.
There you go. You can take all that back to him and let him know. Okay, so does anyone have any questions at this point in time? Do you understand what we're talking about? How if your number comes up as being, say, 17, and you've got 1 and 7 plus the 8, there's 3 parts to that actual number itself. What about the month? Is the month relevant in anything else other than the entire date?
Not in general numerology. I'm sure there are some people that sort of look at that, but from my understanding of numerology, no, it's more about the day than the month. I think the month tends to fall more into the astrology part of it with your star signs and those sorts of things. But there are some other numbers that go with this as well. One of the other numbers that you have, apart from your birthday, your life path and your influence, is the expression or destiny number. And your expression or destiny number is made up from your name, your birth name. Right? So whatever your birth name is, basically to calculate it, you take all the letters of the alphabet, A through Z, and write them down. Then you write down beside those the numbers 1 through 9. So you go 1 through 9, 1 through 9, and 1 through 8, which gives you your 26 numbers. And then for every letter in your name, you add up each of those digits and get a number. And if you get a double digit or a triple digit number, you then add those together and end up with a final number. And that is an indication with the expression or destiny of your personal strengths and weaknesses. So you can see that the life path number is not just an LPN on its own. It's not just this one thing. It's a guide, but you have all these other influences on it. It's a bit like your car. You know, if you don't have oil and you don't have petrol, you don't have the right tyre pressures, and you don't have a wheel alignment, the whole thing's not going to work.
All right. Can I ask you a question about names? So, how can you pick what your name's going to be?
You don't pick what your name's going to be. One of the things that numerologists will tell you about the life path number is that all of this is something that you sit down with your spirit guides and you decide prior to incarnating. So prior to your incarnation happening, you determine what it is that you want to do, what are going to be the major influences and these minor influences and so on. So that you don't get to pick your name as such, but you do get to pick the frequency. All right, and it's the frequency that then comes into play once your name is decided. All right, I know my daughter, my oldest, I was dead set on calling her Danielle. It was always going to be Danielle. And when we went to fill in the paperwork, my wife at the time said, "I like Amanda." And I was not brave enough to stand there and go, "Yeah, no." Okay, so Amanda it is. So obviously it was meant to be whatever the vibrational frequency is of Amanda was meant to be her life path rather than Danielle.
So with me, I've changed my name back to my birth name. So I've had several last names, lost my middle name at one point in time, have gained that back again, and I've gone back to my birth name. And funnily enough, that was through guidance, and it's made me feel a lot more like me when I actually speak to people, when I talk to people, when I introduce myself. It just flows. And now that we're learning a little bit more about, all these influences, I can see why I was actually doing that, and why I've done that. And it's just it just works really well.
And it's also one of the reasons why it's based on your birth name, because we have this thing called free choice. And along the way, we may make a choice to change our names. I've just changed my surname in the last couple of years to match with Janelle, because it seemed to me easier for us both to have the same surname. I know, not normal for the male of the relationship to do the name change.
But it's balanced.
It's normal for us because when Janelle said that's what she was doing, it just made absolute sense to me to change my surname to Watson as well, so that we were both the same. Right?
Yeah.
There's a couple of others as well.
Anita says what her birth name is there. So when, Davina, when you're actually calculating the birth name, I noticed your question, it's your entire birth name. So first, second, third, or first, second, third, fourth, depending on how many that you actually have. And you just, do you calculate word by word, or do you just calculate based on the whole thing? You just add each, put it all in like one long string and just add
one
each.
long string and
there's
add
no
it all
space.
together.
Yeah.
And there's no difference between uppercase and lowercase.
Oh, we'll come back to you. Anita, we're going to come back to your question about 22 in a minute.
So, Anita, so your expression or destiny based on your name is a 2, which is the diplomat. But a couple of other things are based on the name as well. So as well as your expression or your 22. Yeah, sorry, we started with that. So art, music is all about building. And one of the great unifiers across the world is music, because there's no language to music as such.
Well,
it's its own language.
But but the thing is, it's a frequency. And a frequency is what we're looking at with your name. So your name and the numbers, they have a frequency. So each of these values are a frequency. Hi, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Anita, also with your name, there's, as well as your expression or destiny, there's your personality number. Now, the personality number is done on the name much the same way, but you eliminate all the vowels and do the calculation just on the consonants. So if you take your whole name, extract all the vowels and do the same process on all the consonants, it'll give you that. And Anita, in your case, it's a 7, right? And then you have your heart's desire or your soul urge number, which is the opposite. You take your name and you remove all the consonants, and then you do the calculation based on just the vowels in your name. And for yours, Anita, it's a 4. So 2 is the diplomat, which is your expression or destiny. Your personality number is the 7, which is the seeker. And then you have 4 as your heart's desire. And your heart's desire is the 4, which is the stabilizer. So you like the discipline, the practicality. So you're probably the person that likes the process. Okay.
Cool. So you can see why he likes the numbers. The numbers man. I sit there going, struggling to remember. Yeah. It's a number.
This is where we work very well together, because Janelle's such a creative. She goes, I want this, and I go, okay, but to build that I have to do that and that. Don't care, I want this. So she's doing this, and I'm there busy. What are you doing? I'm building the blocks. So
it works really well together.
Get you this.
So basically what you'll find is that numbers are incorporate everything. We'll get back to Davina. We'll have a look at yours, and Tammy. And so Sam says Sam is an 11. Been told her life path is 11. Can we so have Sam adding your I'm looking over here at the other monitor where we've got the info, if you're wondering what I'm doing.
We're working with 3 monitors here at the moment, so yeah.
So Sam, with yours, with being 11, so that's what your birth date adds up to, is it? Can you just pop a yes or no for me in the chat to let me know if that's what your birth date is actually adding up to? So can we plug Tammy's name and then Davina's, and we'll have a quick look at some of the options.
Yeah. TAMYRA?
Yeah. Louise. LOUISE.
Yep.
MCKEAN.
So your expression or destiny number, Tammy, is an 8. An 8 is the influence. So your personality number is a 4, which is the stabilizer, and then your heart's desire is also the 4. So you like that whole stability, that stable, and having talked to you a few times, it sounds a bit like you. Yeah.
Solid. Okay, can we do Davina's, please?
Davina, yeah.
Spaces don't count, by the way. It's not like space has a value of 0 or something. It just doesn't. We just.
9, 8, and 1.
Ooh.
The idealist, so the clarity, the humanity. The 8, the influencer, authority with generosity, and the 1, again, we're back to you can't get away from your whole leader thing, can you, Davina?
Okay, Sam, thank you. Oh, Louise has joined us. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Louise. Yes, welcome. Hi.
Sorry, peeps, if I keep turning away the other way, but I'm just trying to watch the big monitor so I can see what's going on. Got 2 laptops, the big monitor, and a phone running, so trying to keep it all together and all connected so that it's working well. All right, so yeah, Tamara, that actually sounds good for you as well. So what do you think, Davina? Does that suit you? I think it does, actually.
Yeah, looks like a little laugh of acceptance there to me.
I think she's laughing at the fact of trying to keep everything together.
Yeah.
It's like, I am too. So has anybody got any other questions about it? Look, there's more in depth. What's that?
The last one. There is one more little thing that comes up with the life path number, and that's the karmic debt number. Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Okay, so we've been so positive
Big
up
words.
until now, but the karmic debt. With the karmic debt number, if you end up with a number so of either 13, 14, 16 or 19, so you add up all the digits of your date of birth and you end up with a 2-digit number. If it's a 13, a 14, a 16 or a 19, then you're considered to be born with a karmic debt of some kind. Now that does not mean that it's going to influence you the entirety of your life. It just means that you need to be aware of it and perhaps look at finding out what that is and trying to clear the karmic debt.
Sometimes it's a matter of closing a karmic circle with somebody from a previous life, and that's something that happened to me. And it just it's gone and it's all fine. There are no
and it was something that Janelle and I had discussed and we talked about and had come up in conversations a lot of times. And then all of a sudden, the completion of the circle, the opportunity just happened. And it was like bang and done. And now that whole influence on that part of her life seems to have got... It's still there. It's not like you forget that it ever happened. But it's the influence of it that just doesn't seem to exist anymore.
Okay, so sometimes you can be born without a karmic debt this life. It doesn't mean it's perfect. Doesn't mean there's not other influences. Doesn't mean there's not other souls that can actually, be calling on you for things. But it means there's no debt left over, and often it's from a previous life.
Yeah, and one of the things that we look at with our students particularly is doing that karmic clearing down the ancestral line. And you find really odd things like we did have one on my family line on all the males, and I tried a couple of times to do the clearing on it, and the thing that I missed until it occurred to me eventually was in my ancestral line there was somebody who was transgender. And because they transitioned from male to female, I missed them on the male line. Okay, so there's so many things that you have to be aware of, just to be careful of. But yeah. So numbers, interesting.
Yeah, in fact, that even comes down to numbers on the. We're talking today actually about the periodic table in science. And number of carbon, what's the number of carbon? What's the number of oxygen? What's the number of hydrogen? I mean, all of that actually even makes sense.
Carbon is 6, so 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 6 protons. Oxygen is 8, 8 neutrons, 8 protons, 8 electrons. And hydrogen is 1 of each. And if you put all 3 of those together, you've got 888, 666, 111. If you put all that together and add the numbers up, you come up with 9.
Which means?
You can do that.
No, go on.
So 9 is the idealist. It's the number of completion.
Yeah, and that's what we need, and it's what we're mostly made of. We're a carbon-based being. We have oxygen. We have water. We have carbon inside us. It's all linked, It's all linked together. And when you start looking at it, numbers can become fascinating. There's also sacred geometry in the universe. Sorry, a bit thirsty.
Yeah, and for some of you that haven't sort of dealt with sacred geometry yet, geometry is just a variation on numbers, really. And it's all about the patterns and the repeating patterns and spirals. And, you know, you have spirals in shells for the sea creatures. You have spirals in the galaxy and sort of lots of different places in
petals.
between. Yeah, flowers, petals. The Fibonacci
Roses.
Sequence is a spiral that determines... Fibonacci sequence determines the rate of growth of branches on a tree. So as you go around the tree, you get 1, 1, 2,
or
3,
petals
5.
on a flower.
Yeah, petals on a flower. So it's all based on
numbers.
The numbers. So as well as walking through the whole sea of energy, you walk through a sea of numbers each and every day. And the more aware of you become, it kind of like opens your eyes and you go, oh my gosh, look at that. Here's the numbers. Here's the patterns and so on.
The other thing is it can help you when you're actually in business. So if you're in business and you're looking at, you know we look at numbers in business. We look at bank accounts. We look at, prices. There's all sorts of things of how much we charge, what we do, all that sort of thing. But that can also be an influence. So you'll find a lot of spiritual-based businesses will have values and charges like $111 or $11.11 or $222, or because they're actually looking at tapping into the energy, because every number has an energy, and that's what we're talking about, is the frequency and the energy of the numbers. So every number has an energy to it. So when you're looking at actually pricing things, for price points, you're actually you can tap into the energy of the actual numbers themselves for what it is that you want. We started learning this from our guides. We actually talk a lot, of course, to the angelic realm and, my guides and my team. And I've actually recently had Source decide to join us on a lot of conversations. So we're getting a lot of downloads for things and lots of information. And we've been told that we need to jump in and help people with the numbering situation, because this is something that is quite important. And with what we do in coaching other coaches, in mentoring, souls, in everything that we do, it's an important factor with guidance for us, but it's an important factor for you to be aware of as well. So hope you've enjoyed it today.
Yes. So
we had a lot of fun. So thank you all for joining us. It is, Louise, it's being recorded.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm just reading the comments over here. So what does it mean that I'm going to share my spiritual experience with the rest of the world, or what does that mean? Anita. Okay. Not sure where this is coming from. Oh, it's from the number. What was Anita's number? How about we send us a message, Anita, and we'll get back to you. Thank you, Davina. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Anita, message us, and we'll get back to you about what we were actually saying. We need to jump off because we've actually got another Zoom call that we have to jump on, and a little bit of work, and our virtual assistants are sitting there and are waiting for us to actually give them some information that we need to do. This is being recorded. It will be live. It will stay in the group as well, but we're also going to pop it up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And our YouTube channel is Perspectivist TV. So I'll put a link to that as well in the comments down the bottom.
Okay.
So thank you all. And remember, it's your energy, so use it your way. Okay? And we loved chatting with you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye for now.